I just finished booking 2 business class tickets from Los Angeles to Tokyo, Japan for a total out-of-pocket cost of $11.20. Let me show you how you can easily do the same, especially if you're new to the credit card points game. For those who don't know me, howdy, I'm Hutch, game producer and self-proclaimed nerd with a passion for personal finance. And in this video, I'm going to walk through my beginner's guide for how to realistically book business class flights to Japan every year, cheap and efficiently using credit card points. I'll cover which airlines to pay attention to, how to find your flights, and break down the step-by-step process from searching to purchasing your tickets. Having gone through the hours and hours of researching, trying to find the perfect award flights multiple times now, I strongly believe this more realistic approach will be best for your travel plans, especially if you're new to booking flights with points. Let's start this off with a couple of helpful prerequisites. Now, these aren't mandatory, but in my experience, they'll make booking flights so much easier and streamlined. First, you're gonna wanna be within the American Express MR and Chase UR points ecosystems. At a minimum, what this will mean is that for the Amex side, you'll need either the green, gold, platinum, or blue card, and on the Chase side, you'll need one of the Sapphire cards. Now, I recommend being in both point ecosystems because they share some key airline transfer partners, meaning that you can pool both of these points together easily to help hit some of those total points needed in order to book a flight, even if you're a little low from one side or the other. Again, not mandatory. You can find good award flights just by using, Bilt's reward system or Capital One or whatever. It's just that I found it easiest using Amex and Chase. Now, if you've done any amount of research on how to travel to Japan and credit card points, you'll know that ANA or All Nippon Airways is constantly touted as having the best business class flights available for the cheapest amount of points out there, and this is usually true. What's also true is that it's an absolute nightmare to try to book on ANA, not just from the roundabout methods in order to do so, but also just from the award flight availability. Looking for a great deal for your magical winter vacation in Hokkaido? Well, that's too bad. That's full, but we can squeeze you in the first week of May or, a year from now. So for the purposes of this guide, we're gonna completely ignore ANA. The second option you've probably seen is JAL or Japan Airlines. We're gonna circle back to this one a little bit later, and instead let's take a look at the airline transfer partners that we're going to want to pay attention to from Amex and Chase. From their respective list of transfer partners, British Airways, Air Canada, Virgin Atlantic, and Singapore Airlines operate flights to Japan from the US and accept both Amex and Chase points. Keep an eye out for these 4 airlines when we start looking for our flights, and if you haven't done so already, go to each of those airlines' websites and sign up for their respective free memberships. Save your membership number and login details. You can add them to your Amex or Chase accounts now or wait until we need them for step 3. Now, the most optimal way of finding business class flights to Japan using these transfer partners is to actually start by searching on either American Airlines or Air Canada. This is due to having access to their full calendar when searching and being members of specific airline alliances. There are many great guides out there already on how to do just this. We ain't doing that. While I do agree that this method is the most optimal for finding the best reward flights, my God, is it time consuming. So instead, we're just gonna use 2 tools. The first one is amex.points.me. As an Amex card member, we have access to this reward flight search tool for free. So we'll use this to check for flights around the specific days of our trip. If you're not an Amex member, by the way, you can still use just the regular point.me website. It's just that it'll cost you $12 a month. And the second tool that we're gonna use is seats.aero. This is a website that allows you to search for live reward flights across all airlines so long as you have a subscribed account. When we're actually ready to start searching for our flights, we're gonna pay a $10 fee for a 1-month access. I recommend canceling this almost immediately after signing up, just so you don't get hit with an auto renew each month. Finally, let's talk timelines. If you can fly out anytime, anywhere, and you're just looking for that best possible deal imaginable, fantastic. I hate you, I want your freedom, this ain't that guide. Instead, go check out some of the optimal method guides that I talked about previously. This guide works best instead when you have a very specific time frame in mind. Me? I need to be in Japan a few days before September 7th so that I can catch the Final Fantasy VII Rebirth concert that's happening in Kanagawa. I also need to go after the end of August so I can still be here to celebrate my mom's birthday. Realistically, what this means is that I'm looking for a flight during the first week of September. With all that squared away, let's walk through the 4 steps to finding our ideal flights. Step 1. Go to amex.point.me. We'll start here because 1, it's a free tool for us, and 2, it'll let us know if there are any direct flights available on any of the 4 airlines that we're looking for on our specific days. After logging in with your Amex info, you'll be able to fill in your search criteria. I'm choosing one way from the dropdown because I actually do want to book my return flight separately. And I'll actually be traveling with my partner, but choosing one passenger here just lets me see a more complete list of available flights. For the purposes of this guide, I only really care about business and first class travel, so that's what we're going to select. Put in your starting airport, in this case for me that'll be LAX, as well as your destination. For Tokyo, this is going to be NRT for Narita and HND for Haneda. Lastly, select your departure date. Again, I have a very specific window here, basically September 1st through the 5th, where I need to be in Japan. So I'm going to start with the first possible day and keep going up in my search until I find something that works. Point.me will start to take a look, and it is popping up with mostly Delta flights at nearly 300,000 points per passenger. Yikes. Here's a first class flight on Singapore Airlines for 187,000 points. That's on our list of airlines, but 187,000 points is a little too much for what I'd like to spend right now. Instead, let's keep looking. Okay, if I look at September 3rd, I see that there are 2 business class flights on Singapore Airlines, with one being as low as 104,000 points. This looks like a winner to me, so I'm going to hold on to this information and go directly over to the Singapore Airlines website. After logging into your account, select the Redeem Flights option and put in the same flight details that we just saw on Point.me. LAX to NRT, depart date September 3rd. We'll also check the one-way option while we're here in the calendar view. Change the class to business and hit search. Sweet! We found our business class flight for 103,500 crisp flyer miles per person, or in my case, 207,000 points total for me and my partner. Now, if you're satisfied with this redemption, full stop, head over to step 3 to transfer your points and book the flight. If you, however, didn't quite find the redemption that you were looking for, or you want to just check out some additional options, we're going to move over to step 2, which is using seats.aero. After logging into your Pro account, click the search button to navigate to the flight search page. We'll do the exact same thing that we did in step 1. We'll set our origin and destination airports, although here you can use TYO in order to search for all Tokyo airports. This will search for both Narita and Haneda at the same time. On this tool, we have a little bit more flexibility in the days that we can search, so for now I will also put plus or minus 3 days. I'm also going to change the cabin option under the advanced filter section to premium economy. Now, you'll still be able to see business class availability with this option. It just lets you see a more complete list of available airlines. Go ahead and hit search, and after a few moments, we have our list. Let me sort by points, and right off the bat, I see there's nothing that really screams great value for business class flights.
But have you heard how amazing JAL Premium Economy is?
Okay, admittedly, this isn't business class, but this is actually an amazing option if you're really just trying to stretch out your points as much as possible without sacrificing any comfort. This is actually the option that my partner decided to take for her return flight back from Japan. And having flown this many times myself, this is actually my go-to redemption if I'm not dead set on flying business. Here we're going to look for premium point options around the 45 to 65K range because this tends to be the redemption value for JAL Premium Economy flights. I see a few good options here with American Airlines and Alaska, but unfortunately my Amex and Chase points don't directly transfer to those airlines. Instead, what we're going to do is make a note of these flight details and head over to British Airways. Why? Well, British Airways is partnered with JAL, so award flights operated by JAL are bookable with British Airways Avios points. Now, both Amex and Chase points transfer at a 1-to-1 rate to British Airways, meaning you can now book that flight that we just found on seats.aero. After logging into your account, head to the Book drop-down and select Book Flight with Avios. Enter the same flight details that we just saw on seats.aero, in this case LAX to TYO, one way, September 2nd, and hit get flights. And hey, there's our JAL premium economy flight right there. Now, regardless of which option you choose, whether you decide to stay with business class or you decide to go with the JAL premium economy route, let's go to step 3, which is transferring your points. We now know how many points we need and which airline we're purchasing our flight from. Let's move our points over. On the Amex side, you're going to log into your account, select rewards and benefits from the top menu, scroll down and select transfer points. Expand the view all option and look for the partnered airline that you're going to use. Again, in this case, I'm going with Singapore Airlines, but if you chose the JAL option, that would be British Airways. If you haven't done so already, now is the time where you'll need to link your airline membership ID to your Amex account, and then you'll put in your total points that you want to transfer over. Click the review transfer button and you'll see a confirmation of the total points you're transferring, the airline program you're transferring to, and your remaining balance of points after transferring. For Chase, it's actually pretty similar. We're going to log into your account, select Ultimate Rewards, choose the Sapphire or business card you're using to store your UR points, select Travel from the drop-down menu, and click Transfer Points to Partners. From here, you can sort by airlines and find the partner airline that you want to transfer to. Same deal, if you haven't already done so, you'll need to link your airline membership ID to your Chase account. Hit next, and you'll be taken to a screen where you'll put how many points you want to transfer. Hitting next one more time will bring up the review page detailing how many points are being transferred from your Chase account to your airline membership account. As a quick side note here, just in case you missed it, you can only transfer points in certain increments. So even though the total cost for this flight is 103,500 points, we can only transfer in increments of 1,000, which is why we're actually moving 104,000 points total. Now, transferring points can technically take up to multiple days to do, but so far in my experience, this has actually been pretty instant. Regardless of the timeline, once your points transfer, don't linger. Book your flights immediately so you don't run the risk of losing that seat and having your points stranded at an airline program unable to be used. Go to the airline website and we're going to log out and back into your account in order to refresh the point total. Search for the same booking that we found in the previous steps and purchase your flight with your newly transferred points. Choose your seats, fill out your passenger info, review your details, and submit the payment. And there you have it. 2 business class seats, one for me and one for my partner, for the time frame that I want for a total of 207,000 points and $11.20. And all in, after a brief discussion around specific dates, from start to finish, this process took me just under an hour to do. And as you get more comfortable booking flights with points, you'll notice that the time invested gets pretty streamlined and doesn't need to be this long, tedious process to find good flight redemptions. This is the best way that I've found to realistically book travel based off of a specific time frame. If you're extremely flexible to go to Japan anytime from anywhere and don't mind spending hours, days, weeks, maybe even months trying to find that perfect redemption, then definitely check out other guides that'll go much more in depth on how to do just that. Me, I prefer to spend as little time and energy as possible for great quality travel rewards. That wraps up my beginner's guide to booking business flight tickets to Japan with points. Let me know if you have any questions in the comments. And if you're already a seasoned pro at traveling to Japan with points, what'd I miss? Tell us in the comments, because at the end of the day, I really just want to help all of you use your hard-earned points to take those adventures you've dreamed of without getting overwhelmed in the details of doing it. That's it for me. Hope you found this video useful, and hey, thanks for hanging out.